So today is Wednesday. We did this gluing bonding part on Monday. And it said, let it sit for 24 hours. And when I was doing it, I talked about, PSI strength and all of this other kind of stuff as far as the bonding goes. It's not supposed to come apart, ever. According to the people that I know that have used this before, you will rip the metal before you will break the bond. And I didn't let it sit up for 2 days on purpose. Yesterday was a motorcycle day. If you're not a Texican or you don't live in Texas, there's some pretty peculiar things that happen here. And one of them is the annual state inspection of your motor vehicle so that you can get your motor vehicle registered and operate it on a public roadway in the state of Texas. This truck will have to undergo a state inspection to make sure it's safe to operate when it's completed before it can be registered to operate. In other words, before you can get a license plate and a sticker that makes you legal. And I'm not going to go into the state inspection process in this video. If you want to hear about that, watch the motorcycle video. I go off on a bit of a rant, Okay, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if anything got recorded. I'm having a technical difficulty day with this camera. I may be looking for an alternative. If you have any ideas, drop them in the comments. This is GoPro Hero 10, and it's glitchy, to put it politely. So I don't know what's on there right now. So I'm going to conduct a quick review just in case. So I sanded off the excess with 120 grit, and then I feathered the edge to blend it a little bit. This is all overspray from when I painted here and inside here. This will go away. If this is a 1/2 inch by 6 inches, we have 3 square inches of coverage. 3 and 3 is 6 square inches of coverage. At 3,600 PSI per square inch, we have a lot of PSIs before this bond will fail. This is what the manufacturer, Smoothie Fabrication, recommends for bonding these two pieces together. If you weld it, you're going to cause damage on the other side that you may have to fill, and then people step on it and it's going to break apart. So we don't want that. So what's next for the running boards? We're going to sand it with 80 grit on the dual action, prime it, epoxy coat it, prime it, paint it, clear it. It's done. Not doing that today. So I'm going to put it away in the RV. It's climate controlled, so we don't have any more rust. I don't want to prep it now and paint it later. I want to prep it before I paint it. Kind of like the same day process. And then what's left? So I have to sand these fenders. They come coated from the production line. So really all we have to do is sand this with 400 grit to get it ready for paint, to get it ready for primer. And we're going to sand the inside and coat it with like a rhino liner type stuff for rock chips. I have to take the fenders off and sand the edges on those. And then I have to sand hoods so I can get everything ready for this magical, mysterious painting process. And then once we do that, we put the cab back on and we start wiring the whole truck. Once we get it wired, we can put the fuel in it and fire it up. So going forward, things are going to happen rather quickly. Painting's going to take a long time. Don't misunderstand me. Everything has to be sanded, sealed, sanded, primed, sanded, painted, sanded, cleared, sanded, and then you have to cut and buff. You can't do it all at one time. Even if the paint booth was the size of my shop or bigger, you couldn't, there's no way to set all this stuff up. So it's going to be done in stages, per piece, per part group. I mean, you know, we'll do the bed all at one time. I think we can do all 4 fenders at one time. We can do the cab at one time. We can do the hoods at one time. But, you know, everything's a multi-stage process, multi-day process. You have to let it dry and set before you start hitting it too hard with sandpaper. But, you know, that's all stuff that's fixing to happen. First, it all has to be sanded and taken apart first. We're closer. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. So let me put this stuff away, and then we'll come out here and we'll do sanding. Lots and lots of sanding.